Okay, so ready to jump into another deep dive.
Always ready.
Awesome. So today we're taking a look at The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley.
This was a fun one.
Right. Definitely not your typical time travel story.
No, not at all. I mean, it's got the whole time travel element, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's not about like paradoxes and changing the past. It's really more about
Yeah, it's more like what happens when you take people from different points in history and just drop them right into the present day.
like plop right into like 2024. How would they even function?
Exactly. And Bradley really runs with that idea. I mean, her Ministry of Time is this whole government agency dedicated to integrating these, what she calls historical expats, into modern society.
Which, just the logistics of that alone, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the paperwork?
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
But it creates these amazing, like, culture clash moments, right? I mean, you've got Victorian era explorers trying to figure out smartphones.
World War I soldiers on Tinder.
Right. It's hilarious.
And then on top of all that, she manages to weave in these really thought-provoking themes about colonialism, changing social norms, even like what it means to be human in a world that's constantly evolving.
It's a lot, but she pulls it off.
She does. She really does. So let's dig into some of these characters, right? We've got our main character. She's never actually given a name, is she?
Nope, she's just the bridge, which I think actually adds to her, like, every woman quality. She's just this ordinary civil servant who gets thrust into this extraordinary situation.
And then there's the historical figure she's assigned to help, Commander Graham Gore.
Right, a 19th century explorer, very much a product of his time. Kind of stiff upper lip, very proper.
Yeah, so how does Bradley even, like, bring these two characters together? They seem like they'd be from completely different planets.
Well, that's the genius of it. She uses this really unlikely pairing to explore these, like, huge cultural divides. I mean, you can just imagine the misunderstandings, the awkward moments.
Oh, absolutely. But then there's this, like, unexpected romantic tension that starts to build between them.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Me neither. But it totally works. And it's not just some cheesy, like, love conquers all thing. It's more nuanced than that.
Right. It's about two people from completely different worlds finding common ground, learning to see the world through each other's eyes. And it's kind of like forces us as readers to confront our own preconceived notions about, love and relationships. Like, are they really so different across time and cultures?
Exactly. And, it's not all just focused on Gore and the bridge, right? She
Yeah.
brings in all these other historical expats, too.
Yeah.
Which just adds to this whole chaotic but also kind of wonderful atmosphere of the ministry. Like you mentioned before, World War I soldiers on Tinder, which, I mean, could you imagine?
Yeah, she really plays with those kind of fish out of water scenarios for laughs. But there's also this deeper layer there, right? Like, here are these people who are literally from another time trying to adapt to this crazy, fast-paced world.
And it makes you think, like, how would we even begin to help them?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even start to explain things like the internet or social media to someone who's never even seen a television?
It's a good question. And I think Bradley is trying to get at something deeper there, too. Like, it's not just about these individual expats and their struggles. It's also about our responsibility to the past, right?
Yeah.
How do we respect these figures while also acknowledging that, they weren't perfect?
Yeah, they had flaws, they made mistakes, they were products of their time, just like we are products of ours.
Right. And how do we learn from history without trying to sanitize it or, pretend that the bad stuff never happened?
Yeah. And then there's that line that really stuck with me, the one about how everything that's ever happened could have been prevented and none of it was. The only thing you can mend is the future.
Powerful stuff, right?
Really is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not saying that the past doesn't matter. It's more like we can't change what happened, but we can learn from it and use that knowledge to make better choices moving forward.
It is kind of like a call to action in a way, right? Like, don't get bogged down on what you can't control. Focus on what you can do to make a difference in the present and for the future.
Absolutely. And that's what makes the Ministry of Time so much more than just a fun time travel adventure.
Yeah.
It's got this depth to it.
Yeah.
It makes you think about history and culture and our place in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. And it does it all with this great blend of humor and heart.
It's a really unique book.
It is.
So for all of you listening out there, if you could bring one historical figure to the present, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right. And how would you even begin to help them navigate this crazy, complicated world we live in?
It's a lot to think about, but it's a fun thought experiment. And we definitely recommend checking out The Ministry of Time. if you want to explore these ideas even further.
Absolutely.
All right, well, until next time,
Happy reading, everyone.
and happy time traveling.